Sorry about that. Okay, happy Monday, everybody. Awesome. Some technical difficulties to start off our session. Just perfect, but it happens. Um, so, what I was saying is, I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope you spoiled your mothers, and if you're a mother yourself, I hope you were spoiled as well, whether it be a furry child or a human child. We definitely could be spoiled by our pets. Unconditional love. So, especially being a furry mom myself. Um, so, uh, yeah, I happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are in the audience, and those of you of the male persuasion. I hope you treated your mothers well, or at least called them and said you love them. I know they'll appreciate it. So, what do I bring you here on this Monday? It's actually pretty nice here. It's definitely getting stifling hot here in Florida, but it's to be expected. It's now May. We're getting into those months where it's going to be extremely hot. So, but it's nice that I can talk to you guys outside, get some fresh air. Anyway, I brought you here because we have, if you open up the platforms since Sunday, there is something called the 10 C's, and it's an article. It's basically your Bible of evaluating credible sources. It's kind of this internal checklist that you could hold on to when you're reading over sources or you're questioning the credibility of said source. So in the first week, you were kind of given, you were introduced to how you could be exploring articles and information online. You went through Digo and how to bookmark those sources. Um, this week is more about diving in to the heart of research, really investigating or giving you the tools in order to be a good investigator. Many of the times we're in this digital world of instantaneous information, whether it be Twitter, we read on Twitter, we read on Facebook, it's a Vine video. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but majority of us take things at face value, uh, whether it be a headline or a subtitle within an article, and that makes us react even before we go into the article and even read the first paragraph. It's not really a fault of our own, it's just that we have to train ourselves to look for certain things when we are doing this investigation. And it's hard, especially with all the misinformation out there. It's very difficult to decipher credibility, especially online. And that brings us to, well, actually, before I go into that, I just want to let you guys know that I've been going over the discussion boards, and I think that they've been amazing. For the most part, majority of you guys are giving that constructive feedback to each other. Um, you're commenting on things that are located within their post. You're offering new insights. You are you're asking questions to engage in the conversation. So I think that's awesome, especially those of you that started everything off and it kind of got contagious where everybody was following suit. Um, the article that you're talking about is on the dashboard. It's actually one of the assignments. So it's set up just like the Prensky article was 1.1. I believe it's 2.1 for this week. Okay. Um, but I'm going to go through the 10 C's with you kind of in depth in this lecture. We're going to break down what you should be looking for. And again, they're going to come in handy when you do your evaluating. If you are in Team C, and I'll give this later on in this session, but if you're in Team C, the 10 C's are a great way to set up your evaluation process and maybe even come up with the rubric in order to evaluate Team A and Team B properly. But we're going to get through our discussion and Team C and then the 10 C's rather, and then I'm going to go into the debate and what are the things that you can be doing to be proactive throughout this whole process. Okay, so I'm going to open up with a discussion. Why do you think it's difficult to determine the credibility of a said source? What do you think? I said my piece, but what do you think? And you guys could raise your hand or you can type in the text book. Oh, cool. Megan, are you sure you want to speak? Are you okay for that? Typing. Okay, awesome. I wanted to ask you first. I know you have a head cold. Okay. You think it's hard because things look legit most of the time? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's disguised as a news report. There's many programs out there. Things could be easily manipulated. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure you get emails for the at-home businesses or, stay-at-home mom makes $15,000 in 1 week, like those ones. And if you scroll down, they have all the icons for ABC, NBC. Um, it's been proven. It's on this study, and it's on CNN, so it must be legit. It's crazy, and a lot of people know this manipulation, and they know how to use it to their advantage. Yeah, Facebook is the worst. You share information. There's a flood. I'll give you a quick story. My brother, God love him, God love him. I love. He's my brother. Um, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this was about, I would say, a year ago, and of course, there's been this big uproar of what the media calls Obamacare. There was this article that was floating around about the mandate of having health insurance, and along with that mandate was to be a chip was to be implanted in each person that held health care under the government. I think it was called RIFD or something like that. So my brother posts this up on Facebook and says, should I be angry at this? I'm not really sure how I should react to this, but it is kind of making me very angry. Yes, the RIFD chip. Awesome, lady. You know where I'm at. I'm not just speaking off the cuff. So I read this and I noticed that he shared this with a bunch of people. And I just simply replied, bro, you need to come and take my class. And that's all I said. And he privately messaged me and he's like, oh, it's not true, is it? I was like, well, I could see where you're coming from. You read this big bold letters. you read all these comments of people reacting to said article, but did you read it? So it goes along the lines with some of the things, especially on Facebook, especially on Twitter, we take at face value. And instead of taking the time to step back and evaluate, we react right away. And it's like share, 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 or like. And we don't really understand what we are sharing or what we are liking. So, do you guys have any stories like that? Maybe something that a friend of yours posted and they didn't really take the time to read what they were sharing, and you called them out on it. Anyone have a story like that? Wow, we are shy this afternoon. And as you can see, my throat's pretty scratchy myself. I thought I would get somewhat of a break. That's cool. So going along the same lines of responsibility and taking the time to really understand what you are sharing, what do you guys consider before you post an image, before you post a video, before you post an article? What are some of the things that you think of? Okay, I see a lady. Hi, lady. You muted yourself, so you're gonna have to unmute yourself if you want to speak.
Okay.
Okay, I hear you.
So I consider everything
Oh, I lost you.
before I post because to post whatever.
Uh,
Did you lose me?
I think because you're on the phone, it's kind of cutting out in and out. Do you want to type it? Okay, so is it just me, Megan? You can hear her? Ish. Yeah, she was going in and out. Okay, so cool. Lady says I consider everything, which is good, you know? So, what are some of the things that you consider? Give us an example. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And God bless you for, I don't even know how that feels. So I could just imagine. I think about my godson and my goddaughter and what they have to face. Like I don't know. I don't know if I would be too overprotective or not, but it's hard. It's not like how we grew up. They have everything in their face, like, and ready. It's all readily in front of their face. So it's hard. More power to you, mama. When I'm on campus, I usually tell my students, like, when we go over personal branding and the fact that everybody has this personal computer in their pockets. So whatever the interaction may be, whether it is 2 minutes or you engage in like a half an hour conversation, if you don't think that person is taking out their smartphone and Googling who you are, it's kind of ignorant to think that way. So, you know, information is so readily available and so instantaneous that I tell my students, think of your grandmother sitting next to you when you think about tweeting or you think about posting that keg stand that you had over the weekend, stuff like that. um, especially where we think about the time where the internet first started, then we think about when Facebook first started, and we're talking about 10 years ago. It was a brand new thing, so of course everybody was excited, and they're like, "Oh, I can poke people, I can send people stickers, I can say whatever I want, I could post up pictures." So it was like a free for all because it is this brand new thing. It was hot. It just took off. So, and no one really stopped to think about what the consequences were. It's my Facebook page, so only my friends are gonna see this. Well, no, it's forever in cyberspace, somewhere out there, floating forever. Um, and that's what happens when something is brand new. It goes through this trial and error period, and if you don't really stop to think about what you're doing, there's consequences. And lady says it's not really worth the extra energy. When you delete the post, it might be deleted from your eyes, but it's not deleted off the server. Absolutely. And then you got to think about the person that you sent it to, that you sent the message. Did they delete the post, or they still have it? It's kind of crazy. It's definitely crazy. It's a different world out there. I have to hand it to you guys. And Megan, I see your hand up, but I'm gonna make your. Are you gonna type? Okay, she types. Okay. Okay, Megan says, when it comes to news articles, I do my own research before I post something. Awesome. Awesome. And if I can't find it, I post something with the tagline, "Is this for real?" So you're engaging in conversation. Awesome. Um, there is definitely too many scare tactics, and uh, uh idiot is a strong word, but I can see where you're coming from. I definitely can see where you're coming from. It might just be ignorance. Like I said, it's not really thinking of what the consequences is. Especially, that's okay, Megan. Um, and it does. It happens all the time. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'll confess. I'm guilty of being duped by other people, thinking that it's true. Look at what happened just recently. Unfortunately, the guy from Fast and Furious. A lot of people didn't believe that he passed away. They thought it was a hoax just because that has happened so many times, and people tweet and retweet um, false things, and other people start to believe that it can be true when they start questioning. Um, it was very unfortunate. Paul Walker was too young. He died before his time, and a lot of people just didn't believe that it was true. And this poor guy leaves behind a family, and it's sad. It's sad. And Megan, I share in your frustration. I share in your frustration. And yes, fake death reports are the worst. And you mentioned Jackie Chan. Poor Jackie Chan. I think it's like every so every few months they put something on Twitter about him, and he has to constantly say that he's fine. It would be a shame. It would be a shame if it comes out true. But that's, I don't know, if I dare say, that's disgusting to put those types of rumors out there. That's, he has a family, he has friends. Even though he's a celebrity, he's a human being, and we all have people that care about us, and it affects more than just a few people. So it's unfortunate. Okay, getting to the 10 C's. Of course, they all begin with the letter C. It's kind of obvious, but we have content, credibility, critical thinking, copyright, citation, continuity, censorship, connectivity, comparability, and context. Okay, now go. Do you know what this all means? um, they each have a distinct role in the whole evaluation process. I will preface this before we go into everything, that not one article is going to hold at all 10 of the 10 C's. You may find a few, you may find more than a few. It's really up to you to cross-reference and investigate to make your statements more valid. It's a big thing to hold on to integrity and credibility. And in order to back up your statement, especially when you go into a debate like this, you want to hold on to credibility. And making a blanket statement without support, you lose that credibility. So you want to get into the habit where you use more than one source, and it's a way that, okay, you're finding the commonality out of all these sources that back you up and validate your statement. Okay, lady says, how do we know which one is good to use for a statement? Are we supposed to pick a good one or a bad one? You'll find out. We'll go through the 10 C's, and as a group you're going to come up with a consensus. And I think this is what you're asking. Stop me if I'm wrong, lady, but you're going to come up with a consensus about where your debate's going to go. It's going to be like, your statement is almost like the thesis statement of any research paper that you did. You got to make sure that all your sources and everything that you're contributing to the debate, any of your information, is going back to the statement. You are making that you're validating that statement, if that makes sense. Okay, so first one, credibility. This is kind of, it's self-explanatory. There is a lot of websites out there, there's a lot of articles out there that, like, even quotes. This is another one of my pet peeves, that people take quotes out of context. They give the wrong credit to the wrong people, or they just say that it's anonymous when it really is synonymous with a philosopher, an ancient philosopher, or a doctor, or someone that has that clout in education. So one of the things that you could look for is the author identifiable. Is there an author present? if there is an author present, is there a way to find out his or her credentials? Some of the articles that you come across, you can actually, there's a hyperlink, and you can click on the name of the person that wrote the article, and it'll actually give you a bio of that person, and it'll give you the background, what degrees they hold, what profession they're in. So basically, you know, would you be seeking out information if you were to get, if you were a candidate to get, say, heart surgery? Would you be seeking information from a firefighter that has a blog, basically? Would that be something you would do, or would you be looking for a doctor that specializes in cardiac care? And that's what you have to be thinking of. You have to ask yourself this question: is this person really qualified to give me this information? And if they're not, then and we'll get into citations, but are they backing themselves up? Are they validating the information that they're putting forth? Is there a purpose to the information? Like, is there any way it could be biased? Is it something that is going to make you buy something or vote a certain way? Is it going to persuade your decision, your perception? What's the URL extension? Is it an edu, a .com, a .org? And we were asking you to look at this in week 1, that we didn't necessarily want you to use, excuse me, we didn't want you to use Wikipedia. We didn't want you to use the run-of-the-mill dictionary.coms. We actually wanted you to dig a little further and look into educational institutions, or not just pick the first thing that you saw when you created your search. And most importantly, how do you know? How do you know all these things? How do you know that it's a reliable author? How do you know that, where do you go to find these things? Okay, lady, you will know your grades shortly. I will tell you this, that protocol, the instructors have a week after the deadline to get grades in. Will that be the case with me? Absolutely not. And you will be getting, you'll see your grades definitely a lot quicker than that. Know that even though my profile is a superhero, um, I cannot possibly do everything 24/7 and get things turned over. The deadline was midnight last night, but oh, well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty fast. I'll say I'm pretty fast, and I'm not fast in the perception that you won't get good feedback. You're going to get good feedback from me. It's just my background. I come from teaching high school, and I had over 150 students, and grading English papers. So I can handle it. I just don't want to give you. I don't want you to go to your next instructor and be like, "Why don't I have my grades?" And lady, maybe I'll give you that power. We'll see. We'll see. I'll see how you do this week. Maybe I'll give you that power. So, but I love it. I do. I love it. And especially going through the program myself, I know how valuable feedback is. I know how valuable it is to get your grades back in a timely manner, because you want to know that you're doing a good job. You want to know like what you did that stood out and what you're doing right, so you can continue to do it. And then, yeah, at the same time, you want to know what you did wrong and how you can fix it and seek out help. So I totally understand uh, the power in getting your grades back in a timely manner, and I will do my best to do that. um, Megan, you're quoting He-Man in your head. Is that from the Castle of Grayskull? Are those things going through your head? That's awesome. Um, I have the power. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Skeletor, brings me back. Brings me back. Do you know I forget the cat's name? Do you know the cat's name? His cat's name? It's gonna bug me now. See what you did, Megan? Now it's gonna bug me. I have to look that up. Battle Cat, yes. Awesome. I had Battle Cat. I had his sister's castle too, Shira's castle, if you know that. Oh no, don't worry. We can we could digress. It's okay. It makes it fun. Okay. Critical thinking. Critical thinking, I think, is a lost art and needs to come back and needs to be stressed. And that's where all this happens. That's where misinformation starts to happen. That's when all this being the reactor and looking at things at face value. It's really honing in your skills, like questioning things. Again, research does not have to be a bad word. I know that it was for my juniors that had to write that paper, but it doesn't have to be a bad word. Research actually is exciting to me. If if I'm a nerd for saying that, then so be it. But I feel like seeking knowledge and investigating and questioning, um, I love it. That's what I love. So, how are you applying critical thinking skills? You know, you have to think to yourself, okay, I have this source in front of me. I have a purpose for my research. Am I getting what I need to get? Is it validating my statements? Am I getting the information that I need? And then, if you're not getting the information that you need, then what are you supposed to do? And I'm putting that out to you. What are you supposed to do if you are not getting the information that you need from the source that you currently have? What do you think your next step is? Crickets. I hear the crickets now, and I'm actually commenting, Leroy. You said, but it's lost in the mainstream media. What do you mean by that? Okay, I'm going to put your mic on. Hi, Leroy. How are you?
How's it going?
Great.
From the news I watch, I don't think that a lot of thought and effort is put into like what is put on the TV. So
Mhm.
for me, it's just like noise
Mhm.
versus anything with content or any kind of real substance to it.
And it's unfortunate. So, I mean, with that said, we even have to be stronger in our individuality and we have to be stronger in our seeking the truth by having the skills to think beyond and question. We actually have to be smarter than the media and smarter than the newspapers, and find the truth. And it's unfortunate that what you say is truth. It's truth. Just the recent story, and it's kind of tragic, but I tell me if you remember that that plane that went down. Uh, the country is escaping me, but it was it was yes. No, not the Malaysian flight. Although that's another good example. But what I was going off of, there was a news report of a plane going down, and the news reporter apparently just read whatever was on the teleprompter, and the names of the people that got injured on the plane were just a mockery of the Asian nationality, and it was blatant. Um, it was very, very embarrassing, and she had to retract her statement and come on and apologize. Of course, she blamed it on the intern, but that just goes to show you there's a news anchor that that's a prestigious position to hold in um, that line of work. That's a prestigious position. So you would think that you would be aware of your surroundings and you would be aware of something so blatant like that before you speak. And absolutely, Megan, they just do not think before they speak. Leroy, I see your hand up again. You want to speak? Leroy?
It's that's what
Okay,
I'm saying, girls. Whatever I have this job and I am the talking head on the TV, and then I say something wrong. Oh, it's not my fault. It's Joe's fault, or it's Peter's fault, or it's somebody's fault. No, it's your fault because you're the one putting out the news. You should be the one that does the research and
absolutely.
verifies whatever you're getting ready to say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's really what all this is about. That's really it. It's taking ownership, it's taking responsibility. And in week 3, we're going to go over digital citizenship and what that means. And really, what it comes down to is the responsibility. We have these rights as whether you're a citizen of the United States or whatever country you're from, you have those rights, but with rights comes responsibility. So, absolutely. Okay, citation. Most of the time, if they're doing their research correct, and they are the author is devising an article to validate his statements or validate the information that he's putting forth, there should be citations. Essentially, research is research on research. So other people before you have researched and looked at and um, bookmarked, so quote unquote, their resources. And recently, Wikipedia has done this. I would say in the last couple of years, if you scroll down on the Wikipedia page, it lists the resources. That's why Wikipedia is not altogether has no value or has no credit. It actually could be a really cool springboard for information because now they have to list their sources and where their sources come from. Okay. Uh, Megan, you have your hand up. Is there something you want to type? And Leroy, you have your hand up again. Did you want to speak? Okay. Awesome, Megan. Hi, Megan. How are
Can
you?
you?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Hi. I was just gonna comment on the whole that reporter making the mistake, and mine was I saw this video on Facebook, and most people would think it minor because a lot of people who live there is about the um about the Oso mudslide tragedy, and President Obama actually went down there to speak regarding the victims and the families, and he mispronounced the name of the city. He mispronounced the name of the town, and most people would think it minor, and a lot of my friends did. But when you're the figurehead of an entire nation, I think you should take it upon yourself to do your research, because you're representing the entire nation. So it's your responsibility to not look like a fool, or at least have the presence of mind to go, maybe I should know how to pronounce the in front of the townspeople where this tragedy took place. Maybe I should do that so I don't disrespect them. And so, like, imagine if you had done that in like in a foreign country, like in China, or and misrepresenting us as a nation. Like, it's just irresponsible. That's all I was gonna say.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And, you know, sometimes, it depends if you're on the fly or not, but there really is no excuse. You should be prepared. um I know, like, if I have a momentary brain freeze and forget the name of something, it makes me very embarrassed and very uncomfortable. I want to be prepared when I give out information. So you absolutely be aware, especially a figurehead, as you said, like that, representing an entire nation. So awesome. Thank you for sharing, Megan. Head cold and all. Okay, continuity. Continuity has a lot to do with credibility as well, because you have a lot of these sites that, it's not very hard to make a website these days. So, um, it's easy to put information up, and especially once it goes up, it's pretty much etched in cyberspace for forever. There are things that are set in place where they take certain things down or a site goes away. So this could act as a red flag for you. If the links are not working, if people haven't visited the site in a while, information could be outdated. It could have been that they were misinforming the public right from the beginning, and someone called them out on it, and now it doesn't exist anymore, or those links don't exist anymore. So you want to be careful of certain websites that you go to, and maybe there's a paragraph in there that you think you could use some of the information, but chances are, if the links don't work and people haven't visited it since last year, or it hasn't been updated, chances are it's not the best credible source for you. Now, at the same time, I don't want you to think that things that were written 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago are not relevant or validated. Um, Especially in the case with our Prensky article that was written in 2001. Um, it just knowing the purpose of your research, and the Prensky article is still there. Everything works. Um, it's not a dead site. So a lot of these things will give you red flags. Okay, lady, I'm seeing your question. I'm going to read it real quick. Diego says, these are Keith my laptop. Well, he's just looking out for you, lady. He's looking out for you to take a deep breath. It makes me laugh because it's giving me flashbacks of when I was doing the masters here. Same thing. He would say, we had a long conversation, and I'm like, I gotta do this for a year, and we set aside a time period. But after that time period was up, it's like, knock, knock, knock. What are you doing? I'm unplugging you. Uh, so, with Digo, I know when you have say Google Drive or you have Dropbox, the more people that you invite and share, the more file space you get. With Digo, I haven't come across that yet, that it was at capacity. But what I'm thinking is it's more of the same lines. The more that you share it, the more people that you get to sign up on Digo, um, they'll give you more space. It's all in the nature of Web 2.0. They want you to promote, and they want you to share, and they want you to network. So if you are doing, in essence, what they represent, then they hook you up. So, and never cease to learn. Keep learning. I'm a knowledge seeker. I think I would be a student for the rest of my life if it was up to me. So, in Digo, there's actually a share button. If you go on your toolbar, there's a share button, and if you a drop down box comes up, and you could type in email addresses to share it with others. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's what is going to help you in the debate. You wanna share your Digo library with your teammates. That way they know what you're researching, you know what they are researching, and when it comes to putting all this information together, you can collaborate. There'll be no overlap of any one piece of information. And if you want, I could demonstrate that for you once we're finished here. Okay, connectivity. This goes along the lines with accessibility. Now, is it timed? Do you need a certain password? Do you need to be military personnel? Do you need to be higher education personnel? Is it accessible by more than one internet tool? Like, could you get the same information on your tablet and your smartphone? If not, then that could be an indication of some limitations. That could be an indication of the information not being so up to date or readily available. And that's basically what connectivity is. It's one of you're not really gonna come across this as much as the others. Okay, comparability. Comparability, in a nutshell, is like this. There's going to be search engines that you use, there's online resources through Full Sail, and the global session for this week is held by the librarians here at Full Sail, and they're going to give you a rundown of everything that's available to you. If you can make it live, it's awesome. If you cannot, I strongly encourage you to watch the archive. There is so many things that you have access to, even though you're not on campus. Um, you'll be amazed. I'm talking music, movies, games, programs, all of the above. So I strongly advise you to, if you cannot make it to the global session, to at least watch the review back. Okay, and then context. Context is important, just as important as credibility or critical thinking. You really have to have the purpose of your research, and that is why in the debate we have you come up with a consensus or a statement, or call it a thesis statement, if you will. It's really like putting an address in a GPS. It's going to guide your entire presentation. Um, it's going to guide your research. It's going to give you a direction of where to go. So you really have to know the context of your research. Now, so many times with um, research, we tend to put in this broad topic. And the broader the topic, the harder it is to be clear and concise about what you're trying to do. And it's a real challenge. It really takes a skill to break things down and focus. So context has to do with your purpose for research. If you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a starting point, it makes it very difficult to organize yourself. So you need to have a purpose. Okay, so now that I went through the 10 C's, and I apologize for my dry throat and babbling, but now I'm gonna go into how you survive the debate. Okay, so I gave you guys each a group. We have Team A, we have Team B, and we have Team C. Team A's job is to support the statement, and basically we gave you a broad statement. Technology, whether it is uh, texting, internet resources, television. I mean, you could put gaming in there, has either increased or decreased literacy skills. So, Team A needs to find supporting resources that, in fact, there is research that says all of these technological resources lend themselves to the increase in literacy. Okay. So, once you get that, and my suggestion is the first thing that you should do is define literacy. There are so many. There is the literacy in the traditional sense, that is reading and writing. There's media literacy. There's digital literacy. There's moral literacy. So you have to think about what is your direction, going back to context. That's step one. Step one is coming up with a consensus statement, a direction of where your research is going to go. And then making the choice about subsections. How are you going to divide and conquer all this information? Most of the teams have about 6 or 7 people that are on the team. Some people only have 5. I strongly suggest that you divide and conquer. So if you take the statement that we have, there's several things that you could focus on. You could focus on literacy in television, literacy in news media, literacy in Web 2.0 tools, literacy in gaming. There's all these subcategories that you could divide amongst yourselves, and the purpose of the direction has to tie back into the topic sentence. So once you make that strong statement, you now, however you divide the research, you have a purpose, you have a goal. So whether your job is to look up how gaming affects literacy or how television affects literacy, you both, although your subtopics are different, you have the same goal. You have the same ending goal to support your topic sentence. Okay? Same thing with Team B. Team B needs to refute. So pretty much you're saying that television, social media, etc., 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 has not increased literacy skills. Again, that's up until interpretation. It's based on your research. You need to come up with a clear, concise topic statement to drive your research. And look for research that supports that either it does not increase literacy skills, or it doesn't have any effect whatsoever. And that you'll find in your research. Again, divide and conquer. That is the best way you can do it, especially when you have tools like Google Drive and you can create a presentation right in Google Drive, and each of you having these subcategories to work on, you can occupy the slides in real time. So if you happen to be on the West Coast and your partner or one of your teammates is on the East Coast, you could share that information, work on it on your own schedule, your own time, offer constructive feedback by leaving comments within Google Drive, and it's really enriching. I mean, these Web 2.0 tools came about because there was a need, there was a demand. Okay, we need to take this world that we live in, we need to take collaboration and networking and put it across seas, put it across states, put it across oceans. And technology makes that all possible. It's all about how you use these tools. They're there, and it doesn't have to be like, oh my god, how are we going to do this? You have the tools to help you do it. That brings me to Team C. I know that it doesn't look like Team C does anything until they get the presentations from Team A and Team B. That isn't the case. Team C, because you will be evaluating Team A and Team B and coming up with a presentation of your results, you should be working on communicating to each other on how you are going to evaluate Team A and Team B. My suggestion, especially when I'm on campus, is that you take the 10 C's and you devise a rubric. So, just like you guys have a rubric, a scoring rubric for all the assignments that you have for DGL, come up with a rubric on how you're going to evaluate each of the teams. Think about presentation, think about credibility when you're looking at their resources. There's all different factors, and the great thing about devising a rubric, especially if you have the categories, is now you have a way to delegate responsibility. So one of your team members could be presentation. One of your team members could be I'm checking credibility. I'm going to be checking the resources. Um, you know, one person could be checking the support of the topic sentence. So you can divide and conquer as well. So as Team A and Team B are starting to meet with each other and collaborate, you want to start developing a rubric to get it out to the corresponding teams. There has been discussion boards set up for you guys, and I can go in that in a minute here in the platform. Okay, so let's go to 2. Okay, there's discussion boards. You have the main one. Okay, you have the main one. This is going to be where you're uploading your presentation for Team C to look over, and even, I encourage you guys to look at each other's presentation. Offer some constructive feedback. It's so important. Then you have your individual discussion boards. Team A has theirs, Team B, Team C. This is just another way for you all to converse with each other. I know that it's hard, especially being on different schedules, but the really cool thing about this new platform is that you get notifications. And as soon as somebody posts on Team A's discussion board, your team members will get a notification that someone's posted there. And they were like, okay, I need to go look. And that's what's great about this new platform. So the main one is going to be where all the final presentations get uploaded to. The individual ones are for you guys to correspond with each other and conversate, communicate. So Team C, when everything is all said and done and you have your rubric, you need to someone, or you could appoint a leader from Team C to be in charge to post the rubric in Team A and Team B's discussion board. So at least they have some food for thought on how they're going to be evaluated. Now, the deadlines for all this stuff is for Team A and Team B, your presentation should be on the main discussion board by 11:59 Eastern Standard Time on Thursday evening. So when everyone goes in Friday morning, Team C should be able to look over the presentation and start deliberating on who has the stronger presentation. So my suggestion for Team C, you should be working on a rubric and have it to them at least sometime on Wednesday, so they could be looking at, and that's the latest. The sooner the better. Definitely, the sooner the better. And like I said, it's going to organize you. It's gonna get you in the habit of delegating responsibility. This is a team effort, it should not fall on one person only. It should be a team effort. Um, make sure that there's evidence of that. If you are contributing to the group, make sure that uh, ask yourself, is my instructor going to be able to know that I contributed to this project? If so, how is she going to know that I contributed to this project? Make sense so far? You with me, guys? Cool. I know you're starting to talk on the side and make plans, which is cool because you're being proactive. I just want to make sure that um, I'm being clear with my instructions and I'm giving you everything that you need to be successful. This really could be a cool project. I've seen in the past where um, it's formed like strong relationships. I've seen um, programs that they're from different programs and now they're doing projects together down the line in their program, and they're getting awards for it. And this is online. These are students of mine that I had online. They send me stuff all the time about new projects they're working on, uh, short films, scripts, and it's awesome. It's awesome. And lady, I feel your pain, especially that I've been there. I've been there. I went through this program. It is difficult. You just have to be consistent. Uh, I will let you know that not everyone is going to comply. I just ask that you keep open communication with me to let me know. If I could be any assistance, if I could step in, maybe get in touch with the team member that is not holding the weight. So please, also, if you're having trouble, please let me know because I can be of assistance. I could step in and see what's going on. Um, it's very early in the week, I will say. I know that I gave the teams early, and I did that on purpose because I feel like uh, to give you guys some time to communicate and get in touch with each other. However, it is kind of early. Yes, you can share your DL. Absolutely, you could share your DL with your teammates. Okay, so um, if you keep yourself organized, and you delegate all the responsibility, this does not have to hurt. This could be a very fun assignment. It doesn't have to be painful. Hopefully, especially, you might see a change by tonight since now everything is up and open. Now the discussion board's open. Now the assignment's open where people can actually view the assignment, view the statement, um, read over the instructions. So you may see a difference in communication by this evening, hopefully. Um, And David, let me bring up Dio and just give me minutes and I could show you. Oops. Stop. See. Okay. So here we are. library. And you either have a deselect button on your toolbar, or you already have the toolbar in. I have somewhat of a later version, so your toolbar might show up already over here. Now, I don't know why mine's not coming up. Come on. Really? I love when you want things to work and then they don't work. It's awesome. Alright, let's try this again. I'm gonna try a whole new window. Okay. What? Really? Okay. Let's go into a list. Okay. David, I'm having technical difficulty. I don't know why my share button is not coming up. Okay, let's try it over here. Okay, see right over here? It's supposed to be over here. But I went into one of my lists. So if it's not showing up on your library page where I was in the first place, if you create a list for the disinformation debate, go into the list and then you could share the list. So it says share this, and you could start typing in email addresses, or if some of you said Facebook, so you could share it right on Facebook. You guys might have Twitter accounts and you could share it on Twitter. There are so many things that you could do, but I'm not sure why my library share button is not coming on, because there is a way that you could email. Then, if worse comes to worse, David, that this happens to you and the share button doesn't come on, what you could do is make sure, as I demonstrated in week 1, make sure that your list is public. Whatever list that you create, make sure it's public, and all you have to do is copy and paste the URL, and you could share that with your teammates, and you could put that right on the discussion boards. So you could take the URL link and put it right into I don't know what team you're on, but if you were to go into your discussion board, you could create a post and post the link right in there, and all your teammates will get there. What about your GoToMeeting? I'm not sure what you're asking, David. Are you asking, can you create a go-to meeting? Okay. Well, you could do this. If you want to create a go-to meeting, I could set it up for you. And I could, we can all be in there. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to set one up yourself. It's part of the, like, we have access to go to. You would have to make an account and pay for it in order to have access to GoToMeeting. But I would be more than happy to set one up for you if that's what you want. Now I could leave the room open, and I wouldn't have to be there. I could just leave it open. So message me, let me know if that's something you want to do, and I can set up for you. Cool? Okay, awesome. Just message me and I'll set up. I could set up a room and just leave it open to when you want to enter it. Cool. Okay, you're so welcome. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so that basically is the debate. Is there any questions or concerns other than, of course, the obvious ones, communication, linking up with your teammates? David, is that yes, you have a question? Okay. Well, I'm actually recording this session, David, and I'll be posting it up on the community discussion board once the video has rendered. So don't worry about missing the beginning. You could go back and watch the recording. Incidentally, I encourage that to your team members too. You can say on the discussion board, guys, go to the community discussion board. We had a go-to meeting about all the tips to survive the debate, and she went over the 10 C's, and that's on the community discussion board. So that's another thing that you could refer them to and get stronger results. So my suggestion definitely is, especially in campus, I go over presentation skills. And it's easier for them because they're in front of a live audience. So, they have room to show their personality. They have room to, execute body language, tone of their voice. But that's what you could be doing online as well. You can think of yourself as being in a front of a live audience and make sure that you are presenting the information in a way that, although you're not in front of them, your audience will know exactly what you're talking about. They will be able to know that you have done your research and you supported everything that you said. So main thing is, and you want to drill this into your head, refer back to the topic statement, refer back to the topic statement, refer back to the topic statement. Support with research. Support my statement with research. Support my statement with research. Say it all with me. And that's when I'm grading. I'll just tell you what my expectations are. That's heavily weighted with me. Are you supporting yourself with your research? Are you supporting all the statements? Is there evidence that you researched your topic and you're able to tie in the topic sentence with everything that you say by supporting with research? So have fun with it. Make sure you can do this presentation however you want. Just because you're online doesn't mean you can't have visuals. My on-campus people, they use videos to support their topic. They'll play a clip and then discuss it. There's all sorts of things that you can do. Um, and don't be shy. If you have a strong speaker in your group, then have them do voiceover. Make it interesting. Make it. You have all these wonderful tools. You have a diversity of creative people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen some creative, beautiful stuff for the digital identity, and you guys are blessed with a lot of creative people. You could do so much with this, and that's my main thing as an educator is, yes, you have these assignments. There's certain criteria and requirements and benchmarks that you have to meet. But if you don't put your creativity, if you don't put you into your assignment, then you don't buy into it. And the learning experience, it, what's the word I'm looking for? It gets compromised. So you wanna do something that is gonna make your heart happy and keep you happy and wanting to investigate and want to research. So keep that in mind. Whether it is putting in a little bit of yourself into the presentation, or it's reading an article that you feel strongly about. I encourage you guys to do that. Lady, is it okay to use a translator? For what are you referring to? Are you referring to articles? Are you referring to a little bubble that comes up and okay, Spanish to English. Do you mean that you would speak all your stuff in Spanish, or you would speak your stuff in English and have a Spanish translator? Oh, absolutely, Libra. You can conference call on Skype. Skype is awesome. Once you get the hang of it and know how to use it, you'll be able to communicate with more people than you ever thought you could. Oh, lady, of course. Of course. Absolutely, you could use a translator to help you with the language. Absolutely. And you speak very, very well, I have to say. Very well. Better than some of my students that I had in my English classes. So, you do very well. And Leroy, you're in Germany, right? Forget it. When you get a hold of Skype, you're gonna be able to stay in touch with people at home. So awesome. Oh yeah, I get that, lady. I actually had many the ESL students I had in my English class. I once had a girl from Russia, and we were reading 1984. It took her a long time to read that. It's crazy. Oh, I know. Many words that have dual meaning, and they even spelled the same. It's nuts. It's nuts. There is no rhyme or reason to it. There. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the English language is crazy. And then take somebody that is from another country, put them in my senior class where I taught British literature, and make them read Shakespeare. Crazy. Crazy. Well, at the same time, I would love, that's on my list. I would love to speak another language fluently. That's what I want to do. I think Spanish is going to be my first, since it's very common. Um, I mean, I love all the Romance languages. I think they're beautiful. Why? I don't know what Heko is. I know it's why is there no. Why haven't I done it yet? Good question. I have tried. I started. Um, just life. It's no excuse. It's absolutely no excuse. I just need to stick the CDs in my car on my travels to work and just do it. I understand. Have you tried that, Megan? Are you speaking from experience? You have seen videos. I'm gonna have to try that. But it's kind of crazy because if you don't practice it, it goes away. I took 4 years of Italian in high school because I excelled in Latin. We had to take Latin in my high school. And can I speak any of it? No. It's very sad. But I think it's because I didn't really, unfortunately, my grandparents passed away when I was really young, and I didn't really get to practice it conversating with them. Yeah, I heard that Rosetta Stone is on point with languages. It's also great on your resume too. So, if you know another language, it helps you so much in the workforce. Okay, so just to wrap things up, I want keep in mind that you're not in front of a live audience. However, you could still make a presentation spectacular by using all the tools that are right at your fingertips. Know that I introduced you to lynda.com. So lynda.com has all those different programs that you could play around with. um, iMovie, GarageBand, Windows Movie Maker for those PCs, Audacity. There's so many things that you could utilize to incorporate video. Um, Simply using the presentation in Google Drive, the same thing. You can incorporate images, you can incorporate video, you can incorporate music, just as if you were using PowerPoint or Keynote. So I encourage you guys to do that. Utilize your media. You are discussing the fact that how literacy is tied in with um, this new technological age. So use those tools to drive home your point, and make it pleasant for the people that are evaluating you and opposing you, even the people that are opposing you that are on the other side. Um, and I will tell you that Skype works very, very well. I've had my online sections in the past. Those groups that have used Skype to get together got great results. Not only were they able to execute their debate awesome, um, they made these lasting friendships, and sometimes they would even stay up to the wee hours in the morning because they were just having such a good time and laughing and being themselves and communicating, um, after they got their work done. So Skype is definitely a great source. There's Google Plus or Google Hangout. There is instant messaging. There's all sorts of things that you could use. So, with that said, do you guys have any questions for me? Anything that you would like me to show you or repeat or go over? Anything that may have not been clear? Do I take this silence as a good thing? I think at this point we need to figure out how to get together. Absolutely. Oh, yes, Robert, absolutely. As soon as we get out of here, I'm gonna render the video. I'll host it on YouTube and I'll post it on the community discussion board. Right. Lady, you said, do you want me to leave this room open? I can do that. Oh, no problem. I'll stop the recording and I'll leave the room open. No worries. I knew what you meant, lady. No worries. Leroy, you're having a problem with the directions? Okay, Leroy. Okay, go ahead, Leroy.
No, the login part. It after I read somewhere else in there, it's just the first part of your username without the at full sail dot whatever at the end of it. So once I figured that out, I got onto the library thing and I got the article. So I'm good now.
Oh, okay, awesome. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, Robert, sometimes it's just the times don't coincide with everyone's schedule, unfortunately. But that's why I record the sessions, and by doing that, I've noticed that a lot of people go back and watch the session on their own time. Okay, so with that said, guys, it's now about 3:45. If you don't have any other questions, I can stop the recording, and I could leave this room open at ladies' request. So just give me a yes or no if you have any questions in the chat box. And if you don't, then I'm gonna bid you adieu for this afternoon. And I thank you guys for joining me this afternoon. Thank you guys. You too, Robert. Everyone have a great day. And I hope to see, quote unquote, some of you guys tomorrow.